Yo, what's going on, guys? My name is Alex, and game one of the NBA Finals has concluded, so I figure I would go over, give my reactions, my overall takeaways from this game. Before we start though, if you do end up enjoying this video, make sure to like and sub. Trying to get 2,000 subs by the end of the year, so it'd mean a lot. Anyways, let's get started, and I first wanted to talk about the Heat, and although they only lost by 11 points, this game was pretty much over in the first half. Aaron Gordon was absolutely taking advantage of his size, especially since the guys who are guarding him are probably about 4 or 5 inches shorter, and obviously when you're that short, you kind of give up the size as well in terms of strength. And he was just absolutely going ham in the paint, sealing them off, easy buckets, layups, dunks, all that sort of stuff. And I mean, really, after that first quarter, I would say the game wasn't technically over, but it was pretty much over. You could just see that the size was a big problem for the Heat, and it's something, if you watched my preview for this series, it was something that I was really concerned about for the Heat, and it's a reason why I kind of had the Nuggets winning. And unfortunately for the Heat, I just think they kind of fell flat in this game, and a lot of it has to do with their lack of aggression. They're a team that like to get to the free throw line, especially Jimmy Butler. The Heat only took 2 free throws in this game, and I believe, if I remember the stat correctly, they put it up on the screen once the game had finished. I am pretty sure that is the least amount of free throws taken in an NBA Finals game ever. So that is a major problem. You cannot win any games only shooting 2 free throws, and I mean, those 2 free throws came from Haywood Highsmith. Not Jimmy Butler, not Bam, not Gabe Vincent. It came from Highsmith off the bench, which I guess is fun, but they only took 2 free throws. And again, this is, in my opinion, just they just weren't aggressive. There wasn't as much rim pressure that there needed to be, especially when you have Jokic on the defensive end and you can attack him in space, something I also talked about in the preview. It's something that the Heat really needed to take advantage of, and they just didn't. And the reason why they didn't get to the free throw line all that much was because they weren't attacking the paint, and they were also shooting a lot of shots either in the mid-range or the 3-point line. In this game, they shot 38 mid-range shots and 37 3-point shots. Overall, through the entire game, they took 96 shots. That's virtually 66% of the shots that they took. For every 1 shot that they took in the paint, pretty much the other 2 were mid-range shots or 3-point attempts. And again, that's not how you get to the free throw line. You need to take advantage. You need to go downhill. And I think a big reason why they also weren't able to get to the free throw line all that much was because of Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler in this game just wasn't really what we've been seeing throughout the entire playoff run. He only had 13 points in this game, 6 of 14 from the field. And there were 2 shots in particular, I believe they were both in the second half, where he had a pretty decent look at shooting the ball, like, you know, in the paint, but he just ended up passing out. It was honestly kind of crazy. I was surprised he passed up the first one. And then when it happened again, I was like, wow, like, you need to take those shots because that puts more pressure on the defense if you're making them. And hey, maybe the court opens up for you more. But having Aaron Gordon on Jimmy Butler, I think definitely caused a lot of problems, because I feel like the one thing with Jimmy Butler is he is very strong, but you have Aaron Gordon who is just as strong as Jimmy Butler, in my opinion, or at least, you know, puts up a good threat. And I think at least being tied in the strength advantage, having Aaron Gordon with that extra length as well, I think really disrupted what Jimmy Butler wanted to do. And again, I don't think this is going to be a regular thing. We've seen what Jimmy has done this entire playoff run, so I'm not expecting that to happen again, but it's a reason why they lost this game. Now, what kept the Heat in this game? Well, I think we have to start off with Bam Adebayo, who was extremely aggressive on the offensive end. He was hitting a lot of mid-range shots, definitely taking advantage of those open shots that the drop defense the Nuggets run with Jokic was providing. And again, Jokic is gonna live with those mid-range shots. Jokic would much rather stay out of foul trouble and let Bam shoot some mid-range shots that he is shown to be very inconsistent with, instead of playing up on Bam so that Bam can maybe drive into his body and get, you know, some tic-tac fouls. Overall in this game, Bam Adebayo had 26 points, 13 rebounds, 5 assists, 13 to 25 from the field. He really wasn't missing much in the first half. He definitely started tailing off towards the end of the game, but was still overall really great. Gabe Vincent was also very good in this game. He had 19 points, 5 of 10 from the 3-point line. And Haywood Highsmith also had a very good game. He had 18 points, 7 to 10 from the field. Great energy off the bench. Great defensive energy off the bench as well. So shout out to Highsmith. But other than that, those were really the only notable performances on the Heat. They just could not buy a bucket behind the arc. Max Strus was 0 for 10 from the field, 0 for 9 from 3. So absolutely awful. Duncan Robinson also didn't have that great of a night. He was 1 for 5. And the Nuggets just overall in this game were just very good offensively. Again, they won this game in the first half, and a lot of it, again, had to do with that early start from Aaron Gordon, like I said before. But the two-man game between Jamal Murray and Jokic is just completely insane. Jamal Murray, I believe, had like 18 points in the first half. And Jokic virtually didn't shoot for like the first 2.5 quarters of the game. I believe he had like 5 field goal attempts in the first half, and they were up big. It was absolutely insane. Jokic was putting on a passing masterclass, and Murray was making a shot. So again, I don't know what the Heat can really do to stop that. They did end up kind of slowing it down in that fourth quarter by playing zone, which was kind of surprising. But even when they did play the zone, and they did get some stops, let me give the Heat some credit. The Nuggets did miss some shots because of that zone defense, but I would say most of those shots that they missed were pretty decent looks. The Nuggets were definitely getting what they wanted from the zone, but they just weren't hitting him. And I think if you're the Heat, you kind of have to worry that, okay, we just literally can't play zone if Jokic is on the floor, which is what they were doing. And I figured they just threw the zone out to try to do something, you know, see if something sticks on the wall, but it just never was going to work. And to add on for, you know, the Nuggets just missing easy shots, I think the one scary thing about this game is the fact that even though the Nuggets in that fourth quarter weren't really scoring the ball very well, one thing they also weren't doing very well at was shooting threes. I said previously the Heat didn't really shoot well from 3, which is correct. They shot 33% from 3. But if you didn't know, the Nuggets shot worse. They shot 29%, and they were 8 from 27 from 3. And again, a lot of these I think were just great looks. MPJ was in rhythm, missing him. KCP was in rhythm, missing them. Same thing with Jamal, same thing with Jokic. They were just missing shots that I think regularly they hit. And, you know, if you're the Heat, I think you kind of have to be scared about that. You got to hope that continues to happen. The Nuggets only scored 104 points in this game. I think if you're the Heat, that is very good. You need to hit your threes. Will the Heat make adjustments? Yes. Will they work? Maybe. And you know, if you watch my preview, I picked the Nuggets in 6, but I was hesitant on the 6. I was actually kind of leaning more towards 5, and it's because of this game. Pretty much everything that I've laid out is I've kind of expected in a way. But I still have the Nuggets in 6, but I just don't know if the Heat can do anything to stop the Nuggets. I think it's just more, can the Heat do more than the Nuggets? And I just don't know if that's going to happen. Well, those are my thoughts on Game 1. If you enjoyed, again, make sure to like and sub. I'm going to continue to do these post-game reactions, so if you want to keep listening to what I have to say, again, you should definitely subscribe. Also, down in the comments, let me know what y'all think about Game 1 and what you kind of expect, you know, going into Game 2. Check out my socials down below in the description. You can also check out this video where I talk about the preview for this finals. I talked about it pretty much this entire video. So if you're interested in exactly what I said, again, make sure to check it out. Anyways, I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.